in the animal kingdom, if you watch nature shows, as my nephew loves to remind me, circle of life, Auntie Kay, is what he says to me. Circle of life. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today is episode 86, and I'm going to finally talk to you about my worsted knit tops that I show you all the time. I'm going to go over the cropped version and the full version with you, as well as the original pattern. There's a free pattern that this is based on called Girly Knits Bra top, which is done from the bottom up, and I switched the construction to be top down, and this way it allows me to, I start with the strap in one cup and then the strap in the other cup, and then they're joined, and then it's just worked it down. Now what I like, why I changed it was because I wanted to have as much length in the body as I could. And so this allows me to work until I have about 2.5 grams of yarn left, and then I know that I have enough to bind off the last row. So I can use up as much of the yarn as possible to get as long of a top as possible. So I wanted to, that's what we're going to talk about today. And then this is just the worsted weight version. I also have a DK weight version, which I'm wearing, and there's one right here. This is Knitcrate, my favorite base, Vitalana Lofty DK in Violetas, I think. I will be showing you at a later date because there's a lot more math involved in this, because the Girly Knits Bra top is in this gauge worsted weight, and I had to change that to make it DK. But I could only do that after I had done this and been wearing these and could, figure out everything. So that will be later. So if you are interested in learning about how I make these, stick around, because I'll go after it. I'll go through it after everything. Today I just have 2 whips, and that's it. I have no finished items. I've remade one of the whips like 5 times now, and I did not consider I would be doing it the entire month, and I'm so over it. I think I might have to take a break, but I really just want to get it finished. Anyway, what are we talking about? Should we get into whips? Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have any finished, no squishy mail this month. What are we talking about? Okay, Summer Lace Top by Martina Supova. I love saying her name, Martina Supova. Like I said, I've only been working on this when the dress is blocking. So we've made it to two two eyelets, and we know we have to get to 5. So we're only at 2. So I think this is the bigger it gets, the more I like it. So I think I did go back and shorten it up a little bit. And it's the same on both sides. So it's like mid-chest. And then the back will be laced up. However much I need to lace it up for it to, I guess, for this to not fall down. But I also don't know if it might, do something like that. I don't know how it's going to work once we're done. I love how it's working up. I love these colors. It's red, blue, purples, pinks, some undyed peeking through. Absolutely love this. It's like a dark and stormy night. Really, really like it. Really, really like it. Really excited I don't know if this is going to be done this month. Because each row gets exponentially larger, and I'm like, oh, that last one hurt. Like the last one, I was feeling my ulnar entrapment, my last two fingers were going numb, and I'm like, well, I think it was how I was sitting. Because if I prop myself up with pillows, I can crochet a whole lot more. Which is what I should have done last night. But I was in pain last night, and I could only, it's still there. The pain is still there. And I could only sit a certain way. That was interfering with everything. So our next one is, this was just blocked, so it's off needles. This is our dye project. I did name this Black Lipstick Stains. This is what I'm calling worsted knit dress, because I call these worsted knit tops. You guys realize that, like, I like to call things what they are. Like, did I tell you my first cat, when I was like 6 years old, my mom got me a cat, and it was a domestic short-haired cat. I don't even remember what it looked like. It might have been just a tabby. And I named it Fluffy because I wanted a fluffy cat, and she got me short. She probably just found it like in a box, because people used to give away kittens like that at a box, like at garage sales. So you'd see a box of kittens, and they'd be like, free, take one. And my mother, like, always did. So anyway, my mom doesn't even like animals. It's very strange. So I've been through so many iterations of this that I am not even going to tell you what I've done until it's done. And I know what I did. Because I've done this now I think I frogged 5 times. This is 5 times I've frogged. So this is, I think I might have gotten it, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'm at the point where I'm just going to keep going now to see what happens. Because I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to keep going to see what happens. I'm loving the fabric, the pooling, the way the, oh, what I did when I did come back and do this was I did the back the same way I do these. I can just turn around. So this has ribbing along the back here. And I think that adds some extra ease, some extra stretch in it. So I just put it on the back. And I was thinking it's kind of gives me the feel of like a smocked sundress, where they smock, you know, the back of it to give you a little bit of, you know, extra elasticity. So I did it for this, and I don't think it looks terrible, so I might just keep it that way, because I think it's more comfortable, and I'm kind of more into comfort than looks. So I'm going to see how that continues to work out, because I really do like it on the tops. I think it helps with the fit ginormously. Yeah, so that's where I'm at, like row 99. So I'm just past the hips, because this is row 100. So I'm just past hips. So we've worked in the size of my butt. So I'm just going to keep going and see what happens. I can always frog. And redo. And I'm not... That's obviously not going to be done this month, I don't think. Because we got like 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to be done. If I get stuck, which I might get stuck, because after I work on the butt part, I'm going to work another like 8 inches and then try it on and see, because that should cover my butt, I think. And I'll see where I'm at after that. I'm not very hopeful. And I'm kind of upset that we didn't even get to the cotton top that I wanted to do. But then the lunch at Tiffany's. But then that didn't really... The pattern's way more convoluted than I wanted it to be. And then I found a different top that was a significantly more expensive. It's a $10 pattern. But you can use your own gauge, which I already have. So I was thinking I would just do that, because it's very similar. And then I could just, you know, mash up those two patterns together to get what I want, which is what I like doing anyway, so why not? Okay, so those are my 2 whips. Let's get started with the worsted knit top. First, I want to talk to you about the Girly Knits Bra Top by Lauren Riker. I think it's like Knitting is Awesome. It'll be down below. I'm also going to link you her Ravelry page because there's like 1,100 projects on there, and it's such an easily customized pattern that if you want to go through, you're going to see so many things that people have done to change the pattern in little ways, and I think you'll get some ideas. So I really, really want you to go look at that because there's just so much information there that I think could really help you, especially if it might not come in your size. So let's talk about size. So this comes in a 32 to 42 inch bust. I don't know what that is in centimeters, I'm sorry. So I did the extra small, which is a 32 bust, and that gives a measurement of 27 inches at the underarms, okay? Okay, so I'm going to go through the extra small because then I'm going to show you how I changed it for me, okay? So because this one starts bottom up, okay, it started with 116 stitches. So you cast on here, 116. I did not have problems with the cast on because I do that weird backward loop cast on, so my cast on was never tight. Now they start with the smaller needles here, 375s, and then do a 4-5 here. That's not what I did at all. So 116 here. I ended up with a 112. And I know I went down from a 4.5 to a 4. So I did this in a 4 needle, not the 375. I'm wondering if I didn't misread and that's why I got the number wrong. It might have, obviously had to be a multiple of 4. Because I'm doing a 2x2 rib, so this means it has to be a multiple of 4. Everything I do has to be a multiple of 4 to get down to this spot. But we're talking up first. So let's go through the Girly Knits. So you start here, you do this tube. As long as you want this tube to be. Now if you're adventurous, you can start with what I'm going to show you, but I really think if you just have one skein, go ahead and make this, not that like whatever size you are, do it to her specs. If you can get her gauge, do it to her specs and try it out. Just try it out. But I was on a mission because I had 2 skeins from Knitcrate, and this is what started the whole thing, was that I had 2 skeins. So I didn't want to just make one cropped, I wanted a full length. Okay, so anyway, 116 until like it goes from 3 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches. That's what she gives you as examples. But you can do anything you can have it go however you want. The thing to realize is I'm going to get to that in a minute, but you are going to have to measure yourself for this. So if you're going to stay at your waist and not go further down, because this is hourglass shaped. This is kind of how I am shaped. I just have like belly here now. So this measurement is going to have to be whatever your biggest belly measurement. So I took my biggest belly measurement and made it that measure, which was still less than these guys because I went up a size. Anyway, so you work this until you hit this. Then when you switch to stockinette, they have you go to the bigger needles. And when you get to here, I think there's some shaping in the top, and then you bind off. You're going to bind off this whole back piece so that when you come back around, then you start decreasing the cups, okay? And then you separate the cups and you finish one cup and then you finish the other one. That's how that, and then you finish with the straps, okay? So you finish a cup and then you can go right into the straps, I think, on theirs. Can I get this out of the sun so we can talk about it? Okay, so she did 11-inch straps. That's not what I did. Okay, so measure yourself. Full bust. Biggest part of your bust. You might need someone to help you because you want your arms down here in a relaxed position. You want relaxed, however you are relaxed. Biggest part of your bust. Wherever's the biggest, make sure it goes straight around, which is why you might need to have someone, unless you have a length mirror that you can see that you're straight across. I like to do my underbust, which is right under the boobage. Same thing, make sure it's straight around. That's more for the cropped version than this, because this you're going to go from your bust to your biggest part of your belly. So after you've done the biggest part of your bust, do the biggest part of your belly. Otherwise, the fit of this isn't going to matter if you're smaller than the bust, which you probably are, unless you have like a belly situation. I think I did this before my belly really, because I have the premenopausal belly now. It's great. Awesome. So, oh, and your straps, and measure your straps. Decide where you want this to fit, because I like it low. What I did was I took a camisole that I like the fit of, and I measured the straps on that, because I like this sitting low on my back and sitting low on my front, which that's going to mess with your fit a little bit. That's going to mean you need to be a little bit snugger here, or you're going to have some wardrobe malfunctions, which is the word I've never said on the program before. You're welcome. Team Janet, by the way. Also, one other thing. If you find a part of this, as you're making it anyway, if you're making the top down or the bottom up, if you find a part that you like the way it fits. Mine was this. So when I got this measurement and I liked the way this fit across, this became my gauge. I liked this fit, so that became my gauge. Now you're going to realize this gauge is different than this gauge. That's all right. Because these numbers I actually got from the pattern, so it doesn't matter. So, let's see. Okay, so we'll just start with mine. We'll start, are you ready to start? So for I'm going to give you my numbers, which is from the Girly Bra Knits, their stitch counts. So if you are in those, I would recommend using those stitch counts. I would recommend doing their pattern first anyway, because she's got videos. I would recommend doing that, unless you're more advanced and you're like, this is, if nothing I'm saying here is a surprise to you, you can go ahead and do this. If you're like, I don't understand what you're talking about, do the other one and go through, because she walked you through videos. Mine start right here at this edge. So I make an I-cord. This is 3 stitches. For worsted, it's 3 stitches. 3 stitches. So make a 3-stitch I-cord until I can stretch it to 15 inches. Like I stretch it with the tape measure. And I make sure it stretches to 15 inches because this is going to stretch out. So I don't want it longer than 15 inches. I want it like just a smidge past 15. That's what fits me best. So if you're making this for the first time and you're not sure, you can just measure take your measuring tape and measure where you want it. That's literally what I did. I measured it where I wanted it and said 15 inches, and I said, good, we'll do 15 inches. But you have to make sure that you stretch to that, because it's going to stretch to that. Then we come down and we make the left side top. So I'm going to talk to you about this. So this is what we call left front. Left front, okay? And we start with a 3-stitch I-cord, okay? Make sure this is all in here. 3-stitch. So you're starting with 3 stitches. So this is why our number 1 row starts with a purl, because your actual number 1 row is this 3-stitch, but they're all knit. You just knit an I-cord, knit, knit, knit. You knit, and then you change your needle and you knit, okay? So that's actually you're working on the wrong side. You're going to start on the wrong side. So the first thing you do, I want to say that I got these from someone in the projects of the Girly Knits Bra top. I do not know if they want me to name them, so I'm not going to. But if they see this and they want to be named, I will name you in the comments. Or if you want, I'll put your Instagram, whatever. But I doubt they watch me. And I did thank them for this, and they were like, no problem. So I'm not sure that they care that I don't think they care that I'm telling you this, because it's nothing secret. The only thing I took was 3 were these 2 right here. 4 or 5 on both of them. It's just 2 rows, the repeat rows. Everything else I did, the setups I did, the stitch counts I did. It was just where to put the increases. So the first one we do, we have 3 stitches, okay, on the right side. So then we go to wrong side, purl 1, purl front back, purl 1, that gives us 4. So this is like our setup row to, this is right here. This is our setup row to start this. So we're right here. Knit 1, KFB, KFB, knit 1, which gives us 6. Okay. Purl 4, yarn over, purl 2 gives us 7. Okay, so we're set up now. So now these are the 2 rows we're going to repeat to make the cups. And we're only making to right here, because this is where they join. So you're only making I think this mannequin is a little bit slimmer, so she's not so. This is more accurately describes, it's a rounded neck. Okay, so you're just doing like this part. It's a very small part. You're just doing, it's really not that much at all. Where can I easily show? Okay, like this. Because you're starting, you're joining right here. So you're only doing this bit, this small bit. It's very small. You see them in a lot of my pictures on Instagram. When you see 2 of them, you're like, what are those? Those are really tiny cups. Yeah, they are. So that just sets you up for the cup size. So, so our 2 repeat rows are knit 2, knit through the back loop. Now that's not going to make sense right now. Oh yes it will, because your yarn over is right here. You're knitting through the back loop of that yarn over. Knit X. When I say knit X, it means knit until you get to whatever this is. So you could see you're going to knit until you have 2 stitches left. I just don't like saying, I don't like typing out knit until 2 stitches left when I can just say knit X. And then I look forward to go, okay, I need 2 stitches and I make 1. So I know I only need 2 stitches. So you go to 2 stitches, make 1 right, knit 2. This will give you 8. So this row adds 1 stitch. So your second one is purl X. Again, purl means purl until you get to where we at. Make one left, yarn over, purl 2. So again, purl until you've got 2 stitches left. You're going to make one purl left, which you might have to look up. It's not hard. Yarn over, purl 2. So that gives you 10. That's plus 2. So you're going to be adding 3 stitches every repeat of those 2, okay? And here are your stitch counts. Okay, so it's a knit row, purl knit, blah, 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 right? So if you noticed, you're going to end on a purl row, but it's going to be an odd number, and you're going to be like, what? It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Because this should be 1, right? But this should technically be 2. It should technically be like 50 something probably from how many I-cord stitches, I don't know. So 11, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, 20, 22, 23, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, or 31, 32, which is great because 32 is what we want, because in the Girly Knits version, the decrease to start the cuffs is 64, which is where I got my 32. So at the decrease where you start decreasing for the cups, that's going to be your number to reverse engineer. So from 64 I got 32. So after your left front, you're going to cut, and you're going to need enough, leave just enough to I turn it back. I turn the edge, the, what do you call it, the cut end, and I put it right back up here, and then I cut it after it's blocked. So I just do it right there. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so for the right front, we're gonna do the same, just a little bit different, okay? Again, 3 stitch I-cord, which is going to be 15 inches long for me. Don't know what it's going to be for you. Now the setup is the same. Purl 1, purl front and back, purl 1. It's going to give you 4. Next row, knit 1, knit front and back, knit front and back, knit 1, 6. Right? Row 3, purl 6. So here is the here's your 2 rows that are going to be your repeats. Knit 2, make 1 left, knit X. What does knit X mean? Knit till there's 2 left. So knit until you've got 2 left, make 1 right, reverse yarn over, knit 2. It actually doesn't matter if you make a reverse yarn over or a regular yarn over, because when you come back, you'll know by how you work into it that you've done it wrong. That's how I do. I never know. I'm like, which way do I do this? Doesn't matter, because you can just flip it on your needle. So that gives you 3. That puts us up to 9. So row 5 is purl X, which just means purl everything. This gives you 9. 0 increases, okay? And you're not going to even do these that many times. It does not take long at all. I can do both tops in very short amount of time. So this is going to give us 12, 12, 15, 15, 18, 18, 21, 21, 24, 24, 27, 27, 30, 30, 32, but we have to drop the yarn over, okay? And then purl 32. Now, what I wanted to show you is how does this work up, because these numbers are not exactly the same. I'm going to show you how. So, can you see this? So in blue is the left side, and in red is the right side. So you see 11 to 13, we've got 12. See how I worked this out? 14, 16, we've got 15. 17, 19, 18. Do you see you're 1 stitch off, which doesn't even make any difference at all. So 20 to 22, 21, 23, 25, 24. Because right here when we get to 30, it's supposed to be 3. Yeah, minus our yarn over, remember? So this is minus the yarn over, so we're at 32. I'm telling you, this is so small of a difference, you won't even notice it. You will not notice it. Oh, I forgot to say. On your left front, your first one, you do cut. I did say that, right? You do cut. Yeah, because I showed you where I sewed it in. Okay. So this is how you make the top front. Now, the cool thing about this, as this, doesn't matter what size you are, you just keep going because it's going to get for the ratio of how big you need this to be to how long it's going to be, it should give you coverage. Now, I don't know. I'm sure it would work on at least to the 42 because you can add more. If you need more coverage here, you can add more. I mean, we're not done with rows yet at all. We're right here. I've got 30 rows just to do mine. Okay. So then you could keep going until you have the number because I don't do any more increases. They had more increases on the side, but I did not need them. So this covers me. Okay. It covers me. It covers me here on the side. So this is where you can have figure out where you want your fit to be. If you want these to be higher, you can be higher. You'll have more fit, especially if you want to go more. If these need to be farther apart, just keep going. Like it should be, the ratio should keep going. At least to an extent. I don't know how big that extent is. But if anybody is trying to make these and you're stuck, please message me. You can email me. You can DM me on Insta. You can, I don't know if I get them on Facebook, but you can email me through the website. What is it? morningdewstudio.com? Yes. Email if you're having trouble and if your size is not here, I will help you. I also want to say, if you want to make these, if you're making these and you love them and you're like, oh my God, I would love to have that summer dress for next summer, I would love to have you test this. I would love to be able to give that out as sizes with different ways to make them. So anyway, let's keep going because we only have this small part. So once we have this small part and we move it together, okay, we connect it here. We've connected it here. We need to keep going until, when did I reach a measure? I go to like 9. Mine's 9. I'm not sure what that would be to when I want to bring in the back, okay? So it's between wherever you are here, where you join, to when you want to bring in your arm, okay? Which can be, this is why I say make the girly knits one first. And then you can see where everything fits on you and you can say, I want to change this, I want to change that. Plus, you don't use a whole skein. I'm not sure this, a top down by itself is going to be any help for you if you don't do theirs first. I'm trying to remember where I came up with the 9 rounds, but I know I did 9 rows before casting on. It had to be a certain number of inches to get me somewhere. So then when you cast, then you come around here and you cast on for these. You cast on for the back. And this for sure has to be multiple 4 if you're doing a 2x2 rib. And so like my front is 64, so we already know that it has is 4. It's a multiple of 4. So now this gets a little tricky, guys, because I cast on a smaller needle. I cast on the 375. So this whole back part is done on a smaller needle. Because at the time I didn't have 2 needles of the same size, but I think this gives it a little bit more stretch. So then I do something special up here, right here at the cast on, because do you see how this has no holes? If you're the type of person that you're going to have holes left here, what I do is I add, what do I cast on? Oh my God, I didn't take this. So remember, I have 64 stitches on the front and I have to get to 112. 112 is my 112 is my magic number to get here, right? So 112 minus 64 is 48. So I cast on 48. Okay? Now what I do here is, in order to make sure there's no holes on those last ones, I take 3 stitches from the other needle on both ends. So I take three stitches from my needle, and then I cast on 48. And then I go to join it in the round on the other side. Okay, so we're here. I take the last 3 stitches from here, cast on 48. Then when I come around to the other edge of that other needle, I steal 3 stitches from that. So those 3 stitches are not going to be in this pattern. They're going to stay in the stockinette. So what I do when I come back around, work the front, nor just keep stockinetting this on that bigger needle. When you come back to start here, I knit what do I do? I knit 2. I make 1, and then I do a decrease. And the reason I do that, I make 1 and I do a decrease to keep the number the same. And I make 1 and a decrease to tighten up that fabric right there so I don't have a hole. And you can see there's no hole here. There's no hole. On either side, there is no hole. There's no hole on either side. So then, so I make 1, and then I decrease, and then I do purl 2, knit 2 all the way around until the last 6, where I purl the last 2, decrease 2 stitches, obviously, make another stitch, and then knit the last 2, which brings you right here. So that sets up your pattern for the back. You're going to always have 2 that are knit. You're going to do your ribbing, and you're going to end with the 2 knit. You are not going to see these decreases in here. It doesn't matter which ones you do or what you do. You're not going to see them. All it does is tighten that up so there's no hole. That's a pro tip. You're welcome. So keep going. That's going to keep this established pattern there. Now what I do here, so I know where to put my straps, you can put your straps wherever you want. Where I like my straps to be is, I take from the stockinette edges and I count the stockinette columns. So I don't count the purls, but I count this. So I go 1 on one side, 1 on the other side, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. That leaves 1. So I mark this with a stitch. These 2 right here, I mark it. So I go, don't work into that. you're going to sew the straps to the ones next to it. You can do however you want. If you want to go to these ones to have a more, if you need more strap, or you don't even have to put the straps on, you can tie them. I would do more than 3 if you're going to tie them. For an I-cord, I would do more than 3, and I would definitely do more than 15 inches. Well, maybe 15 inches. It's going to depend on you and where you want it. That's a good way to go if you don't feel like sewing these ends in, but it's not hard. So then, once we have the back established, I need to figure out my cup size. So I need to figure out from here to here how much I need for coverage. Okay, this is an important number. This is probably the most important number. This is why I'm saying you keep going to make this the size you need. I think when I was measuring for my DK, I measured how far, because obviously your front and your back are not the same, right? Mine are not the same. If you have an ample chest, your back, it might not be the same. So I wanted to see how much of this I needed to have, where I wanted it to go before I added the back. Does that make sense? So like here we could see I wanted coverage to about my mid armpit before I started the back. Because you can't see, but there's a seam right here in her armpit that is right here. And that's what I did. I made sure the curve was coming down and that it hit right at right in the middle of my armpit. And then I started the back. Because I measured that part of my back. I said, how big does that part of my back need to be? How long does this need to be for me to reach? And then I also did my underbust to try to figure this. I did a lot of drawings and tried to figure out surface area. So, but you don't have to do that if your measurements are in the Girly Knits Bra top. So what I did for here, because you can, if you have this and it's good and you just need more, you can just work straight. I just work straight. I did not have to put in any increases, but you could put increases in if you still need them here. You can still put increases in. So there's a lot of ways to fix the bust here, depending on how much and what kind of coverage you want. So once you know how long you need this to be, you just work even, both of them, until you get to that number where you're gonna, the cups are gonna end. You're gonna end the cups, okay? And then you can, this is where if you have a bigger bust and a smaller underbust, at this point is where I would drop needles. Rather than trying to mess with a stitch count, drop needles. Because then you can come in and cinch that up. What I do for the cropped ones is when I finish this measurement here, I continue the rest of the top with the smaller needles that I've used on the back, the 375s. Yeah, 375s for worsted. I continue all of this, all the ribbing, on a 375 till I'm done. The only problem with that is when you are binding off, this bind off, I use the Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy because it's for ribbing. I don't find it to flare at all when I'm wearing it. If I don't use that, I can't get it over my head or up my body. Also pay attention to that. If you're going to have to put it, are your shoulders bigger than your hips? Figure out which way you're going to be putting this on and make sure that it fits that way. Okay? Very important. I also go up a size. So, but I don't go up a size from the 3.7s. I go up a size from the 4s because I don't change needles on this size. I use a 4. So I bind off with a 4.5. So even if you do the lower needles, you have to bind off with the needle that matches, is above this bigger one. Okay? Does that make sense? Trust me, it does not work the other way. It will not be able to get that on you. Okay, so we know the cropped version. This is made exactly the same way with one change. All that I've said to you is true. We go to this thing, we work the back on the small needles, and we did the increase and decrease here, worked until we had the cup. She is not the same size as me, kind of ignore her. When I get to this part where you're going to stop and you're going to start with your ribbing, the Girly Knits goes down a size. I could not do that. I think I'm too up and down. It was too tight on me. Could not do it. No, thank you. So I did the same. These are all done in a 4. Whole thing's done in a 4. Except for that back, it's got 375. So when you come to the end of this and you're ready to start, you're going to be here. And you're going to come here and you're just going to start, you're just going to keep the pattern going. So here you're going to have 2 knits. You're going to start with 2 knits. 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls. Once you hit this part, you are going to take over with your 4 millimeter or 4.5 if you've got the gauge that they've got. You're going to take over with that bigger needle, okay? And all of the ribbing is done in that bigger needle. So you come around, and you're just going to work that off that smaller needle, put the smaller needle away. And then it's just a tube that you're going to work all the way until you have about 2.5 grams left. And then you're going to do what I said, the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off on one size bigger, which is a 4.5. So that's how I make these tops. Did I say what I cast on? I cast on 48. I gave you all them, so 112. So if you wanted to make this in the 16, the 116, I don't know where the 112 came from, to be honest. I have no idea. I must have miscalculated, because I don't know, unless I specifically took 2 off. Maybe it was too big in the top here. Maybe I was trying to get, that makes sense. If I was trying to get it more snug here in the back and I went down needle size, that might have been why. So there are different things you can do to completely tailor this to your body. I would say with this, because of the way it fits, also it's going to, can I do one thought at a time? The way this fits, I would measure the biggest part of you that this is going to cover if comfort is an issue. It is for me because my allodynia. So I have to, the 112 works for me. The 112 on the 4 inches works for me. I do find the bra part is a bit forgiving. I have fibrocystic breasts, which means that my breast tissue is full of, what do you call them? Cysts. It's right in the name. So my size fluctuates largely and is painful, which is why sometimes it, like today, I feel like it looks like I have been surgically enhanced. I have not. It's also very painful. I'm in a lot of pain today, but on other days I will look smaller, because it all depends what my body's doing, and they can't figure out a way. They tell me to stay off caffeine. I'm already off caffeine, so that does not help me at all. So whatever. What else was I gonna say? Okay, now this does go down to my hips. I'm trying to think of my belly measurement to my hips measurement, and I'm not sure what that is. But it doesn't really, it just comes to my hips. Sometimes it covers. It does not cover my butt. It will not cover my butt. So when my butt starts to curve, it stops. So I do like to make them overly long because I find they creep up. Oh, this is the other thing I want to tell you. These are made with Peruvian Highland wool, which is non-superwash. It's also not merino, okay? I get the best fit with this wool. Now, you've seen, I've talked to you about the tops I make in this base, which is merino, alpaca, and cotton, non-superwash. And this is also DK. This blocks a little bit bigger. So, and when I made a bunch of these in Malabrigo, what's their worsted? Their worsted superwash? Can't think of it. Whatever. It's not worsted. Worsted is their single ply, which I bought on accident. Don't buy that for these. I can't think of what their superwash worsted is called. I tried that in these. The fit was awful. It was awful because it started stretching this way and didn't stop. So it stretched, and then shrank. So I don't do superwash in these, and I think the reason is, as I'm finding out as I'm working on this dress, because this dress is superwash, this fit relies heavily on negative ease. And I think that's something with natural wool that, because it's you have more control over how you block it. And a lot of the fit in this comes from blocking and wearing. So, because sometimes I will block them and wear them and they're a little tight. And then I wear it for like 3 days and I'll be like, oh, it's kind of loose over here. You know, it's kind of loose. Even these get loose here on the underbust, even though they're smaller than here. But this has to go through a very long ways to get here. So even if this is tight on you, don't be afraid to come down here, because this has less to stay that way. Do you know, like this has to stay that way, where this does not. I would recommend doing at least one skein, because I think that'll give you, if you're my size, do one skein. That'll give you enough coverage of the belly to know if it's going to be too tight. And block. You can block at different parts of this to check the fit, to check, you know, I don't measure while I'm doing, I measure after I've blocked, okay? So to make sure I've got the cup that I want. Does that make sense? Don't measure when it's not blocked. Because it might be bigger, depending. It really, so much of this depends on what fiber you're using. It really, really does. I like the Peruvian Highland wool for these. I really, really do. That's the fit I like. If you like the fit of superwash, if you wanted to do these without the negative ease, you totally could. I would then say you need to wear something underneath. I wanted to wear these underneath these as like bras. So I could like wear different colors. I could double them up and have different colors. I don't need a lot of support, so I am able to do that. But if you make these, even if you make the girly knits, please let me know. Tag me or whatever. I want to see if you want to make these top down, or if you even want to attempt. If you need help, contact me. I will help you. And like I said, if you've made some of these and top down, and you're like, I am addicted to these now, just like you are, and I have to make them and everything, and you want to make the dress is a little bit different, because we can't do, this is negative ease here to hold me in, but the dress I did not want negative ease because of this area. So I'm trying to figure out ways to do that. So Also, if you want to make this in DK, make it in worsted first. Take the time. It took me, I think, 3 tries to get the fit to get the fit I wanted in these. And that means you have to wear them for a while. Let them stretch out. Let them be in your body. Sleep in them. Wear them around. Just be in them and let the fiber conform to your body and see what it's going to do. And you'll find a favorite. I think you'll find a favorite that this cascade I just love for it. Oh my god, in my notes I wrote separate cuffs and I meant separate cups. Anyway, I think that's all. I can't think if there's anything else I need to tell you about these. We have full-sized, cropped, and then we'll have a dress version. The dress version, I'm excited. I'd like to do something with this and then go into an like baby doll empire waist type of thing. Flowy. And like, you know, flowy. So far, I only have these in worsted and DK. I do eventually want to get them on sport and fingering. If you would like to help with that, let me know. I will give you design credit. We can also discuss compensation. Yeah. I haven't started the other ones because I haven't gotten my, well, one, I haven't found suitable yarn because all the yarn I have is superwash in sport and fingering. It's all superwash. So I don't know. I already know that doesn't work. I don't know if it also wouldn't work in those weights or not. Not sure. She's left her dog pinned out outside. And there's somebody walking by. So she's got to hassle the neighbors. Okay, so I cannot think if I have forgotten anything. If anything is unclear, please drop a link in the comments. I will follow up. The 2-part of the DK will be whenever we have an open one. I don't think it's going to be the next open one because I have it planned. I wish, you know, when I came to the idea to do this was Friday after I had uploaded last week's video, which was about the audiobooks I'm reading. I could have done this then and done the DK version today. I could have done that. But you know what? It's okay because we're getting into the cooler months. This is great for layering under anything, especially wool. Start making these in wool for fall. And you can wear them with your cropped sweaters. It'll be great. And your cardigans. It'll be great. I don't really like to wear the wool ones during the summer. It's too hot. I wear the cropped cottons during summer, even though I have a fat belly. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I'm old. I can't look like a supermodel forever. We just can't. And some of us don't ever look like supermodels, so who cares? Why can't we wear what we want? I'm in my backyard all day with in my shorts that don't fit. Like, they're so huge now. Such a disappointment. So I do need to find some, I should actually find some sport and fingering that is not superwash and give those a try. That's what I should be focusing on. Maybe that's what I'll focus on over come winter. And my dress. See, I got back on designing after last year. What did I say? I don't want to design anything anymore. Designing is not what I want to do at all. I am not a designer in my heart. Lola Dew, come here and sit down. I don't want to design things. I don't. Every design I make is free, except for one because I had to make a video. Pretty much everything I put out there is free. Because I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to make this in every size. I make it in my size. I tell you what I did. I give you tips because I think it's easiest to make things for yourself, to know your measurements, to know how to go, you know, from here to here, to know what length you need. Like that to me, like I have said before, I have an oddly shaped body, that my arms are too long, my torso is too long, so nothing ever fits as written, ever. It never fits me, ever. Because my bust is too big for the rest of me because of the cysts, and I'm bloated elsewhere, so like nothing ever fits me. So by necessity, I have to make things that fit me, and I also make things for comfort, and I try to put some style in that. Comfort, style is where I'm at, and then gothiness when I can. My problem with doing too much gothiness on this channel is you can't see it when it's black. So I do have to do colors so you can see things, and that's okay. I don't mind doing that. It's fun. Then everything else I can make is black, but I do live in a world in my head where everything I make is black, and I can tell everything apart. All right, I'm getting out of here because it is hot, and I have to splice 2 videos together now. If you've noticed some max headroom stuff going on, something's glitching somewhere. I think it's from the heat, maybe. So please forgive that. It's very hot today. I'm sweating. I want to get out of here. Thanks for sticking around. If you end up making this, like I said, you need some help, reach out. More than happy to help you. I love doing math. Absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing. I would also love to see if we can expand these into different sizes. That would be great. We could like crowdsource the sizing, put it up there for free. I will put your name on the size if you would like to work on that. I don't want to charge for these. I really don't. I don't like charging for simple patterns, especially stuff that's more like a recipe where you can do it. Plus it came from a free pattern. I think it should stay free. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big believer in like access to information. To me, patterns are information. I don't mind paying for patterns. I have done free patterns that I really, really like, and you know, given the designer money because I like it so much. Girly Knits, I do believe she has a donate thing on her thing, so use that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't charge for this stuff. Absolutely you should. You should get paid. I'm just saying for the amount of work I'm putting into this, I'm only doing my size. I'm not grading this for every size. I can't grade for every size. I don't know how to do that. If I knew how to do that, I might. But again, I don't want to be a designer. I have absolutely no desire to become a designer. I'm just trying to show you the things that I love making and show you how to make them for yours, tailor for yourself. Which makes me not a designer. Right? I don't know. Anyway, can I shut up now? It's hot. I want to go inside. Okay, so next week, what did I say? Oh my gosh. Planning August. We're planning August already. It's 80 degrees in here, and we're planning August next week. I gotta get my shit together. Okay, come back next week for that. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.